In this video will be part 2 of my experience at the National Card Show. Don't worry, you can watch part 1 in the link right after the episode, but right now, in this video, I'm going to share with you my top 10 best finds from the Baseball Card Show. You're definitely going to want to stick around for number 2 and number 1, as you won't believe how much fun things there are to find at the card show. First one here is number 10 is the Tom Brady Vault. So Tom Brady has his own card vault. It looks like it's in partnership with Fanatics and Topps, which is pretty interesting. So the display was awesome because it did look like you were going inside a bank vault. So it was one of the big kind of displays that stuck out here at the card show. And when you go inside, it's actually a lot of Tom Brady's personal collection of his most valuable memorabilia, and I want to show you some of that here. So on the left is the 2000 Bowman Chrome Topps Brady Rookie Refractor, which Tom Brady has autographed, and it says 7-time Super Bowl champ, 5-time Super Bowl MVP, and 3-time NFL MVP on it. That is an awesome card. It's probably a 1-of-1 with that autograph. And on the right-hand side is his 2000 Playoff Contenders rookie card, which I couldn't tell if it was numbered out of 100 or if it's just the regular base card. So it's worth either between $35,000 or $855,000. And I think, if you're the GOAT, you better have your own rookie cards as well. So I thought that was pretty cool to have it in his collection. The other piece here is on the left-hand side is an official game ball from Super Bowl 51, where the Patriots upset the Falcons basically at the last minute of the game and then overtime. What a comeback. Well, that was the 28-3 game where they were down in the third quarter and came back. And then something that I didn't think was as cool until I saw it in person, but to see his actual play calling sheet here. So this one's from Super Bowl 52. And if you zoom in on it here, you can see that, for third downs, he's got third and short, third and long, and then third and very long plays all scripted up on here to call. Now, I would love to be able to talk to Tom Brady and have him try and translate some of these, but I thought seeing this in person was way cooler than I expected. In Tom Brady's vault, he also has a game-used helmet. So interestingly enough, this one's from 5 games from his Tampa Bay Super Bowl season, including a playoff game, which I didn't really think about how long does a helmet last, but apparently 5 games on this one. And the right-hand side is a bunch of Super Bowl tickets that Tom Brady has autographed. And so as I mentioned, this looks like there's some sort of deal with Fanatics, whatnot, and all types of things. So it was pretty cool. If you have a chance to check out Tom Brady's vault online, go ahead and do that. Number 9, this was one of those finds you don't even know you're going to find until you do, is the 1985 Opichi mini cards. And so in early 1985, Topps asked Opichi, which is their Canadian partner, to run an experiment to print miniature versions of the regular 1985 Topps cards on Opichi's brighter white cardstock, which looks a little bit more like the Topps Trader, not quite as nice as the Tiffany, but a much brighter cardstock. The interesting thing about these minis is that they were only 10% smaller than the regular cards, so they weren't really that much smaller, and they still said copyright Topps chewing gum. On the back, there's no French text, there's no Opichi logo, there's nothing about these that would tell you they were printed in Canada. And what's crazy about it, the series was printed in 132 card sheets, and I think there was 6 different card sheets for the original Topps version, but only one of those sheets was printed here. So there's only 132 cards that were printed for this test run, and they believe that only about 100 copies of each card actually survived. And so one of the employees after this test run found 130 of these sheets that were thrown away in the trash. Apparently Topps was not going to continue with this, and he saved them, and then they were cut into single cards and rolled out into the hobby. And so I think a couple things that are amazing about this is, one, that PSA has graded them and that they didn't include hand cut, so it counts as like a real cut at the factory card, and there aren't many of these. So this set was worth $65,000, or best offer if you're looking to buy one that I didn't even know it existed until I went to the show. Number 8 is a new sports card company. I ran into Pulserading Card.com, and they have a new brand of baseball cards. They're also coming out with football cards, but they were a really cool company. The people that I talked to, the men and the women that worked at the booth, super cool, very passionate about what they're offering. You could tell they were very deeply involved in it. They weren't necessarily just hired hands to run the booth. They really had a passion for this, and they were very passionate about offering an alternative to kind of the Fanatics monopoly in baseball cards. Now, of course, what that means is they don't have all the copyrights and things for the cards, so it looks like a little bit of the Panini cards when they had to airbrush logos out. These are the boxes that you're going to see that coming out. They start in baseball in 2024 with a focus on rookies and prospects, and now they're adding football, which is pretty cool to see. And I'm going to show you the cool part about this card is each card is actually serial numbered and encased already from the manufacturer. So it's hard to tell from this picture. I'll show you one. They were already encased. And so each one is high quality. It's as if it's already graded or manufacturer sealed from the start, so it's really, really cool. And then they were handing out free cards, and so I happened to get Roman Anthony, who as a big Red Sox fan, I don't know if it was a coincidence or if in talking with them I might have mentioned that I was looking for the Roman Anthony, and then when they gave me a random card, they included Roman Anthony in it, but I was pumped up. I had to thank them for it. And this channel, Sports Cards Edge, we actually bought a 2024 Lumen Baseball, which is their version of Topps Chrome. So it was on pre-order, but now it's available. It's $150 per box. The best I understand is there's only 6 cards in the box. Each one is autographed and numbered out of 60 or less, and each one is already encased in these jewel cases. So when this arrives, we will open it live on our channel, and I'll let you know what I think. I really love supporting an upstart new trading card company. If it's something you're interested in, especially for young prospects and rookies, I recommend you check them out. And they had a code on their table that said National 15 to take 15% off your order. I'm sure they don't mind me sharing that with you even if you didn't go to the National, and see if the code still works. It's, maybe for a week or two after the show, they might keep it open. So check them out. And while you're watching this video, make sure you give us a like. It's free, and we've seen that the more likes our videos get, the more people our videos are shown to. So that would really help us out if you do that. And subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. The next really cool thing I found was a Reggie Jackson rookie card. If you know from this channel, I did a whole video series on Reggie Jackson. I kind of did a deep dive into him primarily because I was just so amazed at how in the 1977 World Series Game 6, Reggie Jackson hit 3 home runs on 3 pitches from 3 different pitchers. So he was just a beast in that game, and if you know Reggie, he's quite a character. And so doing that deep dive, I got into Reggie Jackson. So I was excited to find this BVG, so this is the Beckett Vintage Grading Rookie Reggie Jackson card in a 5.5. If you look at the card, it's pretty decently centered for that era, but it's also really clean. There's very few print defects that I could find. It was one of the cleanest cards that I've seen looking at these. If you look at the back, it's pretty decent. So I thought for the value, they priced it right. I probably could have negotiated a bit, but I was actually just too excited to get the card. And I will probably send this into SGC, or there's another card grader coming up that I want to tell you about that I might send this to. But since I bought it, I want to tell you at least I found something cool to show. The next thing I saw that was pretty cool was the Gary V Friends. So if you know Gary Vaynerchuk, he's big in the entrepreneurial world, and he started his own kind of Pokemon type cards, primarily for kids is my understanding, but there were a lot of adults there that were into him as well. They were giving out free cards for kids 12 and under, and as part of our VIP admissions, we got a super sticker pack, which just this sticker pack is selling for $30 on eBay right now. So I could sell my sticker pack, but hit subscribe because we're going to open this live on our channel here this week, and you can see if we got anything good. I did talk to a gentleman who got a $7,000 card out of his pack because it was a hand-drawn Gary V original, so who knows. But the other fun part is that Gary V was actually there at the show signing autographs. So here he is signing autographs and cards and everything, so I wanted to make sure that I did the same thing. So I found an owl that I don't know anything about Gary V or V Friends, but I found an owl. I'm an owl guy. Let's do it. Do you have another owl you can sign for me? Like this one you mean, or whatever? I don't know. You tell me. So Gary signed it for me. I got it on tape. Pretty pumped up about it. Thank you so much, Gary. It was a CGC 10 graded card for whatever that's worth, and it was only $30. Interestingly enough, the card I got, the Benevolent Owl, it says his competitive advantage on the back is with quiet wisdom and caring heart brings warmth and protection to those who in need, which is definitely what I try to do in my personal life. And then it's interesting, there's an original drawing of maybe how Gary V envisioned this card coming to life, and his quote is, "Who gives a hoot? Me, about everyone." I kind of really like the Benevolent Owl card. It's Pokemon. I don't know that I understand it any more than that, but it was fun to meet Gary V and talk to him briefly. All right, the next thing I saw that was impressive is Whatnot. Whatnot had this like storefront where it looked like you could get your own Whatnot jersey with your kind of channel name or your username on it. But what I didn't understand was how big Whatnot was. And I understand they just got a big round of investing, but as best as I can describe it, it is like QVC or Home Shopping Club, but for you. So you get to live sell your products and baseball cards and things like that. So they had this huge arena and display showing all these different channels. They always drew a big crowd. I talked to a gentleman who worked there, and he was super, super nice. He took me through the whole business model. He was very informative, and I didn't know much about Whatnot, and then I kind of had a really positive opinion about them from just interacting with the employees there. Whatnot, as I mentioned, is the live shopping marketplace. So I think if you want to sell your things, instead of just listing it on eBay, you actually go on camera. You can talk about your products live. You can have them listed for sale. People can buy them from the recording. You can go through multiple items in one sitting and whatnot. I guess that's how they got the name. Who knows? And here's just an example of people doing that here. This looks like a card breaker to me, and he's live opening the card break. What I like is you can see his point of view and the cards that are coming up, but there's also another camera showing him from the front, and so you can kind of trust that he's not going to pull a card off and hide it from you. You can kind of see all the different angles. And so as I mentioned, there was always something really cool going on there, and they had some live stuff going on, drawing a crowd, so we enjoyed our time visiting the Whatnot area. The next one I want to tell you about is rare edition grading. I was just walking by. I literally saw this poster on the left, this display, and it caught my attention. These are probably some of the best looking card slabs I've ever seen. So this is a grading card company. I hadn't seen them before. I talked to the folks there. Again, I'm going to be very complimentary because it seemed like they were on the ground level. I might have been talking to the owner for all I know. And they were so passionate about these. These are thick polycarbonate slabs that you can't really scrape. They're not going to scratch. They're going to protect your card, and it's UV protected, and they looked so slick and cool. I was super impressed with them. I will definitely have something graded by them. It's only $39. I'm going to take you through that. So they say this is a grading system built for the future. They use computer vision and human graders, so hopefully it's more consistent from grade to grade. The slabs look amazing. There are hidden security features, hologram stamps, NFC communication chips, and QR codes built into it. Plus, as I mentioned, SPF 100 protect your cards from UV light so they won't fade and those types of things. These were the coolest looking slabs. I wish I could communicate to you how great they look in person. I'll do a video on one when I get a card back. And the fact that rareedition.com is only $39 to grade a card, it's not that much more expensive than just a base PSA slab, and it looks way cooler to them. But I'm going to take some of my personal collection cards that I'm going to keep forever and have them in some of the coolest looking slabs around. So stay tuned for future videos on that. Next thing I want to tell you about the show is just miscellaneous collectibles. So as you walk around, you're going to find everything there. Of course, there's Pokemon, but there's Garbage Pail Kids. So this is the 1985 Topps Series 1 Garbage Pail Kids wax box that was selling for $17,500. I have some Series 1 Garbage Pail Kids still in my collection. They're not in the best of condition. And you can see here on the right, there's a graded pack of Garbage Pail Kids. So you can find just about everything at the National Sports Card Convention here, including Star Trek cards. So this is the 1976 Star Trek cards. We had those. I saw the Star Wars cards there. And then I didn't know this existed, but you can see there was a trading card set for the 1966 TV show Lost in Space, which I watched a lot as a kid. I thought it was a lot of fun. And this sealed wax box is selling for $35,000. In the miscellaneous collectible space, there's also boxing gloves autographed by Mike Tyson. You can get a Taylor Swift CD insert signed by Taylor Swift. And on the right-hand side is actually an Elvis Presley signed contract to sell one of his homes back in the day. So that's kind of weird or cool if you're into Elvis Presley. And then I was a little bit blown away by some actual authentic photographs. This was a real photograph of the Apollo moon landing that you could buy from your collection. So NASA has these photographs. Somehow they're getting sold and they're up for auction. So that one's really cool. And then here's one for Marilyn Monroe if you're so inclined. The next thing that I found that was really cool was sports art. So just walking by, you're going to find fun things like this autographed Mike Tyson's Punch-Out wall art. This was probably 4 feet by 4 feet or 5 feet by 5 feet. This thing was huge. I loved it. It was only $275. There's no way my wife would let me hang this up anywhere. Next, this was really cool. This was probably a 5-foot tall poster of Michael Jordan dunking a basketball. It was a real basketball that was inflated and kind of 3D effect. You can see the shadow from it hanging out. This was bigger than you would think. It looked cooler than you expect. It was also autographed by Michael Jordan. You can see there. It was selling for $16,500. A little pricey, but pretty cool to have. And a quick shout out to Greeny Sports Cards. When you talk about sports art, they actually took these patch autograph cards and spelled out their name, Greeny Sports Cards. So I stopped by, I told them it was the coolest thing, and they said that sometimes people say that one of these, patch cards is one that they're missing. So they are willing to trade with you, provided you return them another letter. So if you need the T in sport, they need a T back from you in trade, and they kind of keep this display going. So I think they deserve more credit. So I want to give a shout out to Greeny Sports Cards for having one of the coolest displays at the whole show. Another area I really liked in sports art is this artist who did rookie cards. So on the left-hand side here, we've got the Reggie Jackson rookie card, which looks like the one that I bought. And it's autographed by Reggie Jackson. It was pretty big in size. This is kind of movie poster size. I definitely would have purchased this if it wasn't for the fact that it cost $8,000. I think you could have got me for $500 or more, but at $8,000 it just seems kind of crazy. But if you look at this artist wall, they have the Montana rookie, the Jordan rookie. Most of them were autographed, although I don't think the Jordan one was. And so there's lots of cool kind of sports art here. In a different booth, this artist was actually painting something live at the time, but they had this Wayne Gretzky card, Wayne Gretzky poster here that was autographed. That one was selling for $25,000. As a Boston sports fan, I really liked the Big Papi one. That was only selling for about $3,000, and it was autographed as well. So you can find a lot of different cool things from this artist. This is another one. This was 2 times bigger than the other pictures. So this would be like a full, mural type thing that would go above your couch or something. And this was selling for $25,000, but a pretty awesome one as well. And then from a different artist altogether, they took very famous baseball cards and painted them, but had a real different kind of style to them. So I really liked the look of these. And if I could have gotten some of these in like a 1948 leaf, which I'll talk about, these were pretty cool. At another booth I saw, this is actually an iconic photograph from Dennis Rodman on what was almost an 8-foot wide canvas. It was like my full wingspan. It was autographed by Dennis Rodman, and it was only selling for $2,000. So if you're a big Bulls fan, this is a pretty awesome piece of art that you could have. And as I mentioned, while this was more of a display than a piece of art, I just fell in love with the look of the 1948 leaf, especially with the large player names on the front of the cards. So leave a comment if you'd like to have a t-shirt design that looks something like this. I might be willing to do that. But now for number 1, if you made it this far in the video, make sure you leave an emoji of any dollar bill or money sign, and I'll be sure to hit you back, so let us know you watched it this far. But the number 1 thing that was really cool was hardware. And so what I'm talking about here is this is the 1977 New York Yankees World Series Championship ring. This one was presented to Paul Blair, and you could buy it. I think it was up for auction, so I don't have a exact price on it, but this is just some amazing history and lore, and if you were a Yankees fan, I think this would be an awesome piece to own. There are also a number of like autographed footballs, helmets. You can have the whole Dallas Cowboys team autographed there, and then it looks like for like the it looks like for the Hall of Fame game and some other things, you've got the Quarterback Legends game. They have a number of autographed helmets there for you as well. They also had Anthony Rizzo's World Series Cubs trophy for only $1,500. Someone's got to post in the comments. I'm not sure if this was a real trophy. I didn't know that every baseball player would get a trophy. I know they get a ring. I don't know if they get a trophy replica. But on the bottom, it did have Anthony Rizzo's autographed signature with the Cubs logo and then the flag with the W that says the Cubs win the World Series. It was only $1,500, which is why I think this might be in the replica space. And then similarly, this was a $4,000 Stanley Cup replica trophy. This was huge. It looked very impressive. I think if you were big into hockey and you wanted to really have a statement piece, this would be pretty cool. The left-hand side is a replica NBA championship trophy, but it was also autographed by Kobe Bryant, and so that was selling for $4,000. Thanks for watching. Make sure you watch one of these videos here, especially part 1, because YouTube says you're going to love it. And if you're looking to sell your own baseball cards or open wax, take a look at our